Let me share with you a simple philosophy, so simple that many people overlook it, yet so powerful that once you truly understand it, everything begins to change. Not just your results, not just your income or circumstances, but the way you see yourself and the way you live each day. Because life does not change by chance, it changes by choice. And the choices that shape a great life are rarely dramatic. They are usually quiet, small, and repeated. Most people underestimate the power of small disciplines because they are unimpressive in the moment. Reading 10 pages of a book does not feel life-changing. Waking up 30 minutes earlier does not feel like success. Choosing to be patient, organized, or focused today does not earn applause. Yet these small actions, practiced consistently, are the foundation of every extraordinary result you see in the world. The greatest outcomes are rarely the result of one bold decision. They are the accumulation of many small, wise choices repeated over time. Life has a compounding effect, whether we pay attention to it or not. Just as money grows through interest, habits grow through repetition. A small discipline practiced daily might seem slow, but it quietly builds momentum. One healthy meal doesn't transform your body, but a pattern of healthy choices reshapes it completely. One day of focused work doesn't build a career, but daily focus over years creates mastery. What matters most is not how big the action is, but how often it is done. The challenge is that small disciplines are easy to ignore because the results are delayed. People tend to value what brings immediate reward and dismiss what pays off later. That is why entertainment is easy, but personal growth feels demanding. Skipping a day of effort feels harmless because nothing bad happens right away. But every skipped discipline has a cost that shows up eventually. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. Small neglects, repeated daily, compound just as surely as small disciplines do. This is where personal awareness becomes critical. The direction of your life is determined more by your daily routine than by your goals. Goals can inspire you, but routines shape you. If your routine includes learning, reflection, and intentional effort, you are slowly building a powerful future, even if it doesn't look impressive today. If your routine is built on distraction, excuses, and comfort, you are also building something, though you may not notice it until it is too late. Extraordinary results are not produced by extraordinary effort all the time, but by ordinary effort all the time. Consistency beats intensity because intensity fades when motivation fades. Discipline, however, does not rely on feelings. It relies on commitment. When you decide in advance to do the small things regardless of mood, progress becomes inevitable. You stop negotiating with yourself and start trusting yourself. Small disciplines also shape your identity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen self-respect. Every time you follow through, you become a person who follows through. This shift in identity is far more valuable than the immediate result of the action itself. Over time, you don't just achieve better outcomes, you become someone capable of achieving them. Confidence grows not from big wins, but from small victories stacked together. Many people wait for the perfect time to start, not realizing that perfection is the enemy of progress. Small disciplines remove the pressure to be perfect. They invite you to begin where you are, with what you have. 5 minutes of effort today is infinitely more powerful than an hour you never start. When you lower the barrier to action, consistency becomes achievable, and once consistency is established, growth follows naturally. What makes this philosophy so powerful is its simplicity. Anyone can apply it regardless of background or circumstances. You don't need special talent to be consistent. You don't need permission to improve a little each day. You only need the willingness to choose the small, disciplined action instead of the easy, distracting one. Over time, these choices quietly separate those who wish for change from those who experience it. In the end, success becomes less about dramatic moments and more about quiet faith in the process. You trust that the small steps you take today are shaping a better tomorrow, even when there is no immediate evidence. And one day, people will call your results extraordinary without realizing they were built on nothing more than simple disciplines practiced daily. Everything begins with personal responsibility, because the moment you accept it, your life comes back under your control. As long as you believe that your circumstances are created by other people, the economy, luck, or your past, you remain powerless to change them. Responsibility is not about blame, it is about ownership. It is the decision to say, "This is my life, and I am the one who will shape it." That decision alone shifts the way you think, act, and respond to everything around you. Many people resist responsibility because it feels heavy. It means you can no longer point outward when things go wrong. But what they fail to see is that responsibility is also freeing. If you are responsible, then improvement is possible. If you are not responsible, then improvement depends on forces you cannot control. The truth is, you may not be responsible for where you started, but you are responsible for where you finish. Life does not ask for excuses, it responds to ownership. The moment you stop blaming, your energy changes. Instead of wasting time explaining why things are the way they are, you start asking better questions. What skills do I need to learn? What habits must I change? What attitude is holding me back? These questions lead to solutions, while blame leads only to frustration. Progress begins when you turn the mirror inward instead of pointing the finger outward. Personal responsibility also changes how you respond to challenges. When difficulties arise, the irresponsible mindset asks, "Why is this happening to me?" The responsible mindset asks, "What is this trying to teach me?" One mindset creates resentment, the other creates growth. Challenges are no longer seen as punishments, but as training grounds. Each problem becomes an opportunity to develop strength, wisdom, and resilience. This philosophy does not deny that life can be unfair. It simply refuses to let unfairness have the final word. Waiting for life to be fair is a losing strategy. Taking responsibility allows you to rise above circumstances rather than be crushed by them. You may not control what happens, but you always control how you respond, and your response is what determines the outcome over time. Responsibility also sharpens your discipline. When you know the results are yours to create, you become more intentional with your time and energy. You stop drifting through days and start directing them. You become more careful with your choices because you understand that every choice is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Small decisions once ignored now carry weight because you recognize their long-term impact. Another powerful effect of responsibility is the growth of self-respect. Every time you take ownership instead of making excuses, you strengthen your character. You begin to trust yourself because you know you will face reality honestly. This trust builds confidence, not the kind that comes from pretending everything is fine, but the kind that comes from knowing you can handle whatever comes your way. Confidence rooted in responsibility is quiet, steady, and unshakable. Many people wait for motivation before taking responsibility, but responsibility often comes first. When you act like the person in charge of your life, motivation tends to follow. Action creates clarity, and clarity fuels confidence. You don't wait to feel ready, you become ready by stepping forward. Responsibility turns intention into movement and movement into momentum. When you fully embrace personal responsibility, your language changes, your habits change, and eventually your results change. You stop saying, "I can't," and start saying, "I haven't learned how yet." You stop hoping things will improve and start working on improving yourself. Life begins to respond differently, not because it has changed, but because you have changed the way you show up every day. Complexity is often mistaken for intelligence, and simplicity is often mistaken for weakness. Many people believe that in order to change their lives, they need complicated systems, detailed plans, and perfectly mapped strategies. They collect information, attend seminars, watch videos, and take notes, yet little actually changes. Not because the information is wrong, but because complexity without execution creates the illusion of progress. Simple philosophies, when lived daily, outperform even the most brilliant plans that remain unused. The human mind is easily overwhelmed. When a plan becomes too complex, it becomes difficult to start and even harder to sustain. This is why many people feel motivated at the beginning, but slowly drift back to old habits. Simplicity removes resistance. A clear, simple idea is easy to remember, easy to act on, and easy to repeat. When something is easy to repeat, it becomes a habit, and habits are the true drivers of long-term success. A simple philosophy acts like a compass rather than a detailed map. It does not tell you every step, but it keeps you moving in the right direction. Ideas such as improving a little each day, acting with discipline, or taking responsibility for results do not require explanation once they are understood. They guide decisions automatically. In moments of confusion, simplicity brings clarity. When you know your core principle, you do not need to debate every choice. You simply align with what you already believe. Complex plans often fail because life does not follow a script. Conditions change, emotions fluctuate, and unexpected challenges appear. When a plan is rigid and complicated, it breaks under pressure. Simple philosophies are flexible. They adapt to circumstances without losing their essence. Whether times are good or difficult, the principle remains the same. You continue to show up, do the small disciplines, and stay consistent. This adaptability is what allows simple ideas to endure over time. There is also a difference between knowing and living. Many people know what to do, but few do what they know. Simple philosophies bridge this gap because they demand action, not explanation. They move the focus from understanding to application. You do not need to understand everything about success to take the next right step. You only need to apply what you already understand. Progress rewards action, not complexity. Another strength of simplicity is that it builds confidence. When you see yourself consistently applying a simple principle, you begin to trust yourself. You are no longer dependent on motivation or external guidance. You know what to do because the philosophy has become part of you. This self-trust compounds over time, just like results do. Confidence grows not from complexity, but from repeated proof that you can follow through. Simple philosophies also reduce decision fatigue. When your values and principles are clear, many decisions are already made. You do not waste energy debating whether to act with discipline or procrastinate. The answer is already decided. This mental clarity frees energy for creativity, focus, and growth. Complexity drains energy, while simplicity preserves it. The greatest transformations in history have often come from simple ideas consistently applied. The idea of showing up every day, telling the truth, working harder on yourself, and serving others does not sound revolutionary, yet it has changed countless lives. The power is not in how impressive the idea sounds, but in how faithfully it is practiced. A simple idea, lived with commitment, becomes a powerful force. When you strip away the unnecessary and focus on what truly matters, progress becomes steady and sustainable. You stop chasing new techniques and start mastering timeless principles. Life begins to feel less chaotic and more intentional. The simplicity you once overlooked becomes the very thing that carries you forward, quietly shaping your actions, your character, and your results over time. Events come and go, but habits stay. Most people give far too much credit to what happens to them and far too little credit to what they do every day. They believe a single opportunity, a sudden break, or an unexpected setback will determine the direction of their lives. In reality, events are momentary, but habits are permanent, and it is the habits you practice daily that quietly decide your future long before any major event appears. An event can inspire you or discourage you, but it cannot shape your life on its own. Inspiration fades and disappointment passes, yet habits continue working in the background. If your habits are strong, even negative events will not derail you for long. If your habits are weak, even positive events will not save you. This is why some people recover quickly from failure, while others never recover from success. Their habits, not the event, determine the outcome. Habits are powerful because they operate automatically. Once formed, they require little conscious effort. This is both their danger and their advantage. Poor habits quietly pull life downward, while good habits quietly lift it upward. Most people do not feel the effect of their habits in the short term, so they assume nothing is happening. But habits are always working either for you or against you, whether you are aware of it or not. When people experience a setback, they often wait for motivation to return before taking action. But motivation is unreliable. Habits do not rely on motivation, they rely on structure and repetition. When action is habitual, it happens regardless of mood or circumstance. This is why discipline outperforms enthusiasm. Enthusiasm responds to events, while discipline remains steady no matter what happens. Consider how people respond to the same event in completely different ways. One person uses a failure as fuel to improve, while another uses it as an excuse to quit. The event is the same, but the habits of thinking and acting are different. Over time, these habitual responses shape character, confidence, and capability. What you repeatedly do when no one is watching becomes who you are when it matters most. Habits also shape your identity. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. Goals point the direction, but habits provide the vehicle. Without supportive habits, goals remain wishes. With strong habits, progress becomes inevitable. You begin to see yourself as a disciplined person, a learner, or a leader, not because you declared it, but because your daily actions prove it. Many people wait for life to change before they change their habits, not realizing that habits are what change life. Waiting for the perfect event is a form of procrastination disguised as hope. The truth is, life responds to patterns, not promises. When your patterns change, your results change. Slowly at first, then all at once. The beauty of focusing on habits is that it puts control back in your hands. You cannot control most events, but you can control your daily practices. You can choose what you read, how you spend your time, how you respond to stress, and how you treat others. These small, repeated choices form habits, and those habits shape your future far more reliably than any event ever could. Over time, people may look at your success and point to a lucky break or a defining moment, but they rarely see the years of preparation that made that moment possible. They notice the event, not the habits that preceded it. Yet it is always the unseen routines, practiced day after day, that create the visible results the world eventually applauds. Many people measure success by what they get: money, recognition, possessions, or status. These things are visible, easy to compare, and often celebrated by society. But the deeper truth is that what you become in the process is far more important than what you acquire. What you get can be lost, taken, or spent, but what you become is carried with you everywhere and influences every area of your life. When you focus only on outcomes, you may achieve short-term wins, but they often come without fulfillment. A person can gain wealth and still feel empty, reach a position of authority and still feel insecure, or accomplish a goal and still feel unprepared for the responsibilities that follow. This happens because the inner growth required to sustain success was neglected. Achievement without personal development is fragile, while growth builds a foundation that lasts. Life has a way of matching external rewards to internal capacity. If your character skills and mindset do not grow, your success will eventually shrink to match you. On the other hand, when you invest in becoming more disciplined, wiser, and more capable, opportunities naturally expand. You do not have to chase success when you are becoming someone worthy of it. Success tends to follow that kind of person. Becoming is a daily process shaped by choices, not by titles or achievements. Each decision either strengthens your character or weakens it. When you choose honesty over convenience, growth over comfort, and discipline over excuses, you are shaping who you are becoming. These choices may not change your bank account immediately, but they change your capacity to handle greater responsibility and greater reward in the future. What you become also determines how you handle what you get. Two people can receive the same opportunity, yet produce very different results. One uses it wisely and grows, while the other wastes it and blames circumstances. The difference lies not in the opportunity, but in the person. Skills, attitudes, and values act as filters through which opportunities pass. If the filter is weak, even the best opportunities produce little value. Personal growth also affects relationships. Becoming more patient, understanding, and emotionally mature improves the quality of your connections with others. Success that damages relationships is not success at all. When you grow as a person, you not only improve your own life, but also add value to the lives around you. Influence, respect, and trust are natural byproducts of becoming someone others can rely on. Another overlooked aspect of becoming is resilience. Life will test everyone, regardless of status or success. When challenges arrive, what you get cannot protect you if you have not become strong on the inside. Money cannot replace discipline, and recognition cannot replace character. Inner strength, developed through consistent personal growth, allows you to endure difficulty without losing direction or purpose. The focus on becoming also removes fear from the journey. When your goal is personal growth, setbacks lose their power. Failure becomes feedback, and mistakes become teachers. You are no longer defined by outcomes, but by progress. This mindset creates freedom because you understand that as long as you are growing, you are winning regardless of temporary results. In the long run, the most valuable investment you will ever make is in yourself. Skills can be learned, attitudes can be refined, and character can be strengthened. Everything else you pursue in life responds to that investment. When you make becoming your priority, what you get becomes a natural consequence rather than a constant struggle. Whenever you study lasting success, one principle quietly stands above the rest. Consistency outweighs intensity every time. Intensity is impressive in the moment. It looks powerful, feels exciting, and often gains attention. Consistency, on the other hand, is quiet and almost invisible. It doesn't announce itself. It simply shows up again and again, doing the work long after the excitement has faded. And that is why it changes everything. Most people start with intensity. They feel inspired, motivated, and ready to transform their lives overnight. They work long hours, set ambitious plans, and push themselves hard. For a short time, progress happens. But intensity depends on emotion, and emotion is unreliable. When energy drops or challenges appear, intensity disappears. What remains is habit, and if consistency was never developed, progress stops. Consistency does not demand perfection, it demands commitment. It asks for manageable effort applied regularly. A small action done daily will outperform a massive action done occasionally. 10 minutes every day beats 2 hours once a week. A steady pace builds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Over time, consistency creates results that intensity alone can never sustain. The real power of consistency lies in trust. When you consistently follow through, you begin to trust yourself. You stop making promises you cannot keep and start keeping the promises you make. This self-trust becomes a foundation for growth. You no longer rely on motivation because you rely on identity. You see yourself as someone who shows up, and that identity reinforces the behavior. Consistency also protects you from burnout. Intensity often leads to exhaustion because it ignores limits. Consistency respects rhythm. It allows progress without self-destruction. You grow stronger without breaking yourself in the process. This makes success sustainable, not just achievable. Life rewards what is repeated, not what is attempted once. Skills are built through repetition. Confidence grows through repeated action. Character is shaped by repeated choices. Consistency turns effort into mastery. What once felt difficult becomes natural. What once required discipline becomes routine. Many people believe they need more motivation when what they really need is a system they can maintain. Consistency thrives on simplicity. Clear goals, small steps, and regular action remove friction. When progress feels manageable, it becomes permanent. The goal is not to do everything, but to do something consistently. Over time, consistency creates a compounding effect. Results may be slow at first, almost unnoticeable. This is where most people quit. They judge progress too early and abandon the process. But those who remain consistent eventually experience exponential growth. The same actions that once produced small gains begin producing significant results. Consistency also builds resilience. When setbacks occur, consistent people do not quit, they adjust. Because their identity is tied to showing up, not to immediate results, they keep going. This ability to continue, even when progress feels slow, separates those who succeed from those who merely try. In the end, consistency is the great equalizer. Talent may give a head start, but consistency determines the finish. Motivation may ignite action, but consistency sustains it. When you commit to showing up daily, doing the simple things with discipline, you create a force that quietly reshapes your life over time. Most people believe that change requires dramatic effort, extreme discipline, and sudden transformation. They admire stories of overnight success and intense bursts of productivity, assuming that this level of force is the secret to winning. But intensity is deceptive. It burns bright and fast, then fades. Consistency, however, works quietly, steadily, and relentlessly, and over time it produces results that intensity alone can never match. Intensity depends heavily on emotion. When motivation is high, people work harder, push longer, and sacrifice more. But motivation is temporary. It rises and falls with mood, energy, and circumstances. When life becomes stressful or progress feels slow, intensity disappears. Consistency does not rely on emotion. It relies on commitment. It is the decision to act even when you don't feel inspired, even when the results are not immediate, and even when no one is watching. The true power of consistency lies in its sustainability. You can sprint for a short distance, but you cannot sprint forever. Intensity is a sprint mindset, while consistency is a marathon mindset. Sustainable effort allows growth without exhaustion. Instead of exhausting yourself in short bursts and quitting, you make steady progress that compounds over time. This steady rhythm keeps you in the game long enough for real change to occur. Consistency also reshapes your self-image. When you show up repeatedly, you begin to see yourself differently. You stop identifying as someone who tries and start identifying as someone who does. This identity shift is powerful. Once you see yourself as consistent, your behavior naturally aligns with that belief. You don't need external pressure or constant reminders. The habit becomes part of who you are. Another advantage of consistency is clarity. Intensity often creates chaos. People try to do too much at once, overwhelming themselves with unrealistic expectations. Consistency simplifies the process. It focuses on what can be done today, not everything that must be done eventually. This clarity reduces resistance and increases follow-through. Small actions feel achievable, and achievable actions get repeated. Life rewards repetition, not effort alone. Skills improve through daily practice, not occasional bursts of hard work. Confidence grows when you repeatedly face discomfort, not when you avoid it until motivation appears. Discipline strengthens when it is exercised regularly, not when it is used once in a while. Consistency turns effort into ability and ability into mastery. One of the greatest challenges with consistency is patience. Results arrive slowly at first, and the human mind is impatient. Many people quit just before the breakthrough because they mistake slow progress for failure. Consistency requires faith in the process. You continue to act without immediate proof, trusting that the results are accumulating beneath the surface. This quiet trust is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. Consistency also creates resilience. When effort is consistent, setbacks lose their power. Missing one day does not destroy progress because the habit remains intact. You don't quit because your identity is tied to returning, not to perfection. Intensity often collapses after failure, but consistency absorbs failure and continues forward. Over time, consistency becomes a force multiplier. The same actions that once felt small begin producing larger outcomes. Opportunities increase, confidence deepens, and momentum builds. What once required discipline becomes natural. What once felt difficult becomes routine. This is the hidden magic of consistency. It transforms effort into ease through repetition. In the long run, consistency levels the playing field. It outperforms talent, without discipline and ambition without structure. It rewards those who are willing to show up repeatedly, even when progress is slow and recognition is absent. When you commit to consistent action day after day, you activate a principle that quietly reshapes your character, your habits, and ultimately your life over time.